oh, 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 oh. Hey, 155. Holy shit, guys.
Holy balls and applesauce, man.
Man,
We're
you don't stick your balls
here.
in applesauce. We are here, which is, it's funny because this is kind of like 3 years of it, because like we missed an episode and we had a bonus episode, which would make it 156. But 156 is next year or next week. Next year, guys.
I don't know if you noticed something in the far right corner. There's a
love it.
new little thing. It's just the beginning because here. Just wait 1 second. I'll be 1 second.
I need this shirt. I need this shirt and a tank top.
I put it in my Discord, and people were like, "Where can we buy this?" And
Yeah.
I'm like,
I need it as a racerback. I need it as a hoodie. It would make such a kick-ass hoodie.
It's here. I still got my
yes.
Josh
tag on it.
Joshua,
Hey.
I need this as a hoodie, and I need it as a racerback workout shirt.
It's here.
Yep.
It's ready. You can buy it, actually.
Where?
Can we really? You have
Tell
to share
us
that in
where,
the chat.
Joshua, because I want this. I need this. I need it as a hoodie, and I need it as a racerback tank top right now.
Yep.
Okay, the tank top's not ready, but there's T-shirts and hoodies available at murdermoose.com.
That's murdermoose.com. Go check it out.
Murdermoose.com.
Buy some merch. Put it on your body. It's guaranteed to make you at least 1 point more sexy than you already are.
It does. Josh has been improving
Sexier.
the logo, or doing new like slicker logos. I think is a good way to put it. Right? Like it's a compact.
There's going to be
logo, and
a
it's
new
good.
website to go along with it. I'm working on everything today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Shit, yeah.
It's all
Hell
sleek.
yeah.
I love black and white, so the whole thing is black and white right now. Black
Hell yeah.
and white. Those are my
Black and white.
I
Like the
am
best
all
version of the
for
Mist.
it.
The Mist black and white version. Best version. Best version. Best version. Speaking of black and white, and it just made me think of a Boston Terrier, which made me think of Strays, which I watched on Flex this weekend, and it was fun. It wasn't like the best
the
comedy
dog
ever.
movie?
Yeah, with Jamie Foxx and Will Ferrell and MacGruber's in it as the bad guy, and
I watched Mr. and
enjoyed
Mrs.
it.
Smith.
from like 20 years ago
It
or
was
more. It had to have been.
Was it 20 years ago? I don't know. It was just hot.
I mean,
They're hot in it, and then they just have like hot sex. And then I had some hot
2005.
sex right after.
Hot
I was like,
sex.
this movie is just too hot. It's got to happen.
it's too hot to handle. It's too hot for TV. It's just like
Hot.
hot, so hot. Want to touch the hiney?
Touch it.
Yes,
They were
so go
just
buy
good
Murder
looking in that
Machines.
movie.
I mean, it was good looking enough that like those two fucked for a couple of years after that.
And had a
So
bunch of
hot.
kids. So hot.
So hot.
So hot, want to touch the hiney. Oh man, I was telling Ken before we started that Zelda was out eating my my book I bought,
Yeah.
and she's a dirty hoe, and I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to shave a DH in her head so everyone knows that she is a dirty hoe. And yeah, this is true.
I
have
think-
a buddy.
I think, honestly, because I was in the back end of the website, that this shirt works for advertising because our numbers from Saturday and Sunday jumped up considerably since I wore this shirt. Really straight.
I'm trying to purchase one right now, and we will talk afterwards.
You two wait because I will put a special discount for us in there so you don't pay full freaking price because you're on the show. You should just have to pay how much it is.
Yeah.
Like me. Sample price.
I want a sample hoodie and a sample racerback.
Yeah. I don't want your money. I want you to have the Murder Moose merch because you're
That's
on the
right.
podcast.
I will wear it. I'll wear a t-shirt too. Fuck yeah, let's go.
They're great. It has it on
Hell
the
yeah.
inside too. I didn't even ask them to do that and they did that and I love it.
Yeah, I like that. It looks really great.
any shirt that doesn't have fucking tags in it is a-okay. Like
Oh,
I think
hell
they've mostly
yes.
moved away from that, right? Like
yeah.
We are the
Remember shirts, right?
MMP. Yeah, you know me.
Get down
You
with
know
MMP.
Oh, you know
I was
me.
also thinking, just
Oh,
because
I
it's
gotta close my window.
so
Go ahead.
fun and it is a store, I could just do MM merch too, and not just MMP, just Murder Moose merch, and have it be just fun, random, whatever shit. Not even podcast merch, just MM merch.
Josh sent me on Instagram the other day. It might have been yesterday. The moose losing its antlers, which is always
Isn't that cool?
yeah.
Is it one with
It's
it like the logo? It'd be really cool if it was the logo, but with like one of the antlers like broken and like kind of like the black and white, but like maybe the blood drips in red. Like I know that that's additional print color, and I know that can cost more, but
Nah, like I'm just doing like for these ones, they're just straight.
Right.
Yeah, like transfers. It's
Yeah.
not like screen printed. So if you're gonna wash them, make sure you wash them on light wash, so it lasts
Gotcha.
longer.
Oh,
gotcha.
I have to tell you guys, I took my ancient Honda Civic, which will have owned for 18 years in December, out to get an oil change on Friday, and this is a fun story. And they're like, "We can't open your hood.
What the heck?
Why?
The latch won't release. Like they couldn't get the latch to release." And the oil is like at the point of like, oh, it needs oil real bad. And also, I can't put new windshield wiper fluid in it because that's also underneath the hood. So my Honda it's been on its last legs for a little while. I only put like 50-ish miles on it a week, most weeks. But I'm like, this may be the swan song for this this old reliable that's been, it's traveled across the country. It's gone multiple times, driven from Ohio to Colorado, and Colorado back to Ohio.
Aww.
The car has, it's gonna we're gonna have to play a swan song, like a Viking funeral dirge for it, because setting it on fire probably will be as profitable as selling it at this point.
You could sell tickets.
Yeah, it's nothing besides scrap metal at this point.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so that's going to be costing me a lot of money. And I'm like at this point where I'm just like, I don't want to start paying car payments again. So I was like, is it worth taking money out of my retirement fund to buy a new car? And I'm like,
I mean, I guess it depends on how quickly you can recoup it, right?
yeah. I mean, it's like the whole penalty, right? Because you have to pay 10% if you do it, which sucks. 10% of the money you take out. So if I'm taking $40,000 out for a car, it'd be like $4,000.
Ugh.
But then I'm not paying monthly either. So
Right. And how much is it going to save you in interest rates over the loan itself?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Welcome to the podcast where we as adults discuss actual interesting real life things, because doing the math on that sucks. These are things that they need to teach you as a person in school or as a young adult. Interesting facts.
Yeah. Do taxes, how to do all the things that they don't teach you in schools anymore or ever. So, yep. Life is strange. Okay, guys, we're getting close to spooky season.
Hell yeah.
It is. I mean, it is spooky season. It's always spooky season for us, but we're coming up on October. I've been wondering about what we want to do for the podcast. So we'll have to think of that. And I kind of want to do for episode 156 next week. I was thinking about this today. My favorite horror movie of all time, which is Alien. But I'm not sure. Is that... And maybe we even do a thing where we do a stretch where we do all three of our favorites. Like we could do Alien and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the kin, and then Army of Darkness or Josh. Like we do like a Murder Moose selection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Murder Moose selects.
I mean, it's all
I don't know. Like I'm having a hard time because this week talking about Daybreakers, I'm excited to, because this has, I think, enough weirdness maybe things not to like and to like. But if we're only choosing like our favorite movies, and well, I guess it's not all three of our favorite movies, so there could be things. Never mind. I think I'm thinking too much. That would be fun.
Josh thinking too much. Never, Josh. Never, you beautiful soul.
I just don't want us all to just be gushing the entire. Well, fuck. I guess there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, if we do Alien, if you two like say anything negative, I will never talk to you again. So it's okay. I would like. Just can't do it. We can't be friends anymore because Alien is a perfect horror movie. And also, Alien is. I was watching Katie Peters play Dead by Daylight on Sunday, and she was playing. They have Ellen Ripley on there, even though it doesn't look like Sigourney Weaver at all. And then the xenomorph is a killer in the game now, which is interesting. So
Yeah, it's too bad that Dead by Daylight sucks. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
no, you just like verbalized the exact thing I was thinking because it's a cool game with a toxic fucking community that is just like, nope. The community that like it's the survivors who get mad as a killer if you camp on a dead body and then like report people, and it's like, but like that's their job is to kill people, and they get all mad while the fucking survivors are a bunch of goddamn trolls. So I don't know, man. I'm just like,
Yeah, I can't.
That game has such cool content, man. It has such cool, like, iconic, like, killers from movies. You know, it's got Michael Myers and this Ghostface and Freddy Krueger, and now it's got the Xenomorph, and it's just like. And by the way, Alien is a slasher film.
The same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, I know that. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I can't believe
That's
that game's
why,
still going. How long has it been a fucking thing?
I think
About
like
4 years now.
no, it's more than that.
Is
I
it?
think it was 2018.
Oh yeah, shit. I like wrote off 2 years during COVID, so probably about 6 years.
Let me see. No, June 14th, 2016. So it's over 7 years.
Yeah, I was close the second time.
Yeah, I knew it was at least 28. I knew it was like at least 5 years old, but yeah. Yep, it's been around forever and ever. And they have cool things like Pyramid Head in it, but God damn,
I guess
playing that game.
at the same time, like, only if you're into it, then you're into it. And if your audience is into it, then they're into it as well. And it's like, it is what it is. Like, I get my ADHD. It's like I was so into Fortnite for so long, and then now I can't even watch it for 20 minutes before I go, what the fuck? How was I ever so into this? But then I don't know. City Skylines, why does that just like and
oh, by the way, you won't have to worry about that much longer because it's part of the Unity engine.
Yup.
what do you mean?
Oh, you don't know about this? This
No,
is
I don't.
another sidetrack. So last week, the guys that own Unity decided that they were going to put out a statement that said, beginning on January 1st, that for every time someone installs their game after like 200,000 downloads, they have to pay 2 cents. Like the publisher has to pay 2 cents. So they like, or was it 20 cents? It's something insane. Like it is the worst like PC nightmare in gaming, maybe of all time. Like that's how bad this is.
Like basically too, like if you have a game that you utilize Unity, you can't run it through Game Pass anymore because and it's not just account based. It's not like, oh, I've downloaded this game. It's, oh, I've downloaded this game and then uninstalled it because I needed space for something, and then I've reinstalled it. Okay, well that cost them twice. Well, I've had to uninstall it because I needed space, and then I reinstall it. Okay, well that cost them twice or 3 times.
Yeah, it was a big old debacle in the gaming sphere last week.
How can they even do that?
I don't. That's the problem, is that they probably can't. But like, their CEO used to be like work for EA, so he learned a lot of scummy tactics. And a bunch of the CEOs and like corporate executive guys all like dumped stocks in the last 6 months because it seems like they've been planning this for a while.
Insider trading.
Kind of seems like insider trading, doesn't it? But insider trading is a very fucking hard thing to prove, especially when you space that out enough. So yeah, I don't know. It was just a debacle. It was just.
I'm
yeah.
still under blackout on my company that I work for. It's a public company, Plasgred. I'm not allowed to buy stocks because I work for them and I know the ins and outs. We're all on blackout. I'm like, oh. And I just keep seeing the stock like go up and up. And I'm like, fuck.
Okay. Well, have you guys been doing anything else fun before we dive into Daybreakers?
I went to a Twitch meetup on the weekend. That was fun.
That's what you said.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
met,
you got to hang out with the wind.
Yeah, he's a fucking gem. He's a gem.
Yeah.
The Calgary community is, well, it was a little lighter because the last meetup was it was like 2019, so obviously before COVID, and then shit happened. No one, yeah. So I feel like this is the first full year of like everybody and everything kind of coming back to be a thing. So it was really good to see like a shit ton of people that I haven't seen in that long, and the fact that I'm actually like slowly, coming back onto the platform and streaming a tiny bit here and there. I feel like I can consider myself a streamer again.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah, I love Twitch.
You are a.
I know you guys
streamer.
because of it, so hey.
This is very true. And you two are two of my favorite people in the whole world. So that's what Twitch will do for you. That's what Twitch will do for you. Anything? I mean, Kin's on a secret CIA mission.
I am.
We can't.
I'm on a mission. I'm high. I'm spying. Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I watched the Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship of the Ring, and I watched Lord of the Rings Two Towers. Sorry.
That would be
every time.
Very different. So it's
every freaking time I do that.
It's when Osama bin Laden attacked Middle Earth.
When Osama bin Laden went to Mordor.
I just burped because I had
when
beer. And
weapon of mass destruction to rule them all. Hey, that's kind of what it is. Anyway, so yeah, I watched the extended edition of both of those. Can we talk about the fact that that's like 10 hours of my life? Okay, maybe not quite 10.
I think
I had to break it up across numerous days, but
I think I've talked about it. I don't know if I've ever told you though, Ken. The reason why I don't watch those movies is I went to Trilogy Tuesday the day before Return of the King came out, and it was extended Fellowship of the Ring in the theater, hour break, extended Two Towers in the theater, hour break, Return of the King, all the same day, and I'd never want to watch those movies again because that was the most ADHD crushing event of my entire life, and.
Yeah, I've done I'll do like an hour or an hour and a half, and then I'm like, okay, it's done. Because it's not that I get bored, but I will start to fall asleep, and I'm on a new medicine that I'm like fucking around with, which I don't think we're gonna stick with very much longer. And so I'm falling asleep at like really weird, inopportune times again. And so I kept falling asleep the other day. I fell asleep during the movie we're watching today, which is stupid, but I think it's because I've seen it so many times, which I do love it. So don't take it as a negative review. But yeah, so I don't know. They were good. They were very good. And I've just been listening to a metric fuck ton of podcasts. I've been listening to so much Last Podcast on the Left. I've gone through so much. Not that probably anybody that listens to them, that listens to us other than a few of our close friends, but thoughts go out to them. They're dealing with a lot right now. So just thoughts go out to them. And that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I've been just casually, I don't know what I've been doing. I have a buddy in town I've met through Twitch. So another Twitch visitor. So I didn't even stream over the weekend. But yeah, been hanging out, and then learned that apparently in Colorado you need a credit card to rent a car, which wasn't a thing. I never knew, and he doesn't have a credit card, so we were dealing with that today. He wanted to go venture to the Garden of the Gods and couldn't do it because my car wouldn't make it, let alone. So yeah, go back to previous statement about oil changes. So. Okay,
Damn it!
What? Damn it is right, Josh. let us go into a movie that is wonderful and has one of the best casts, like for like the littler
just
cast.
a powerhouse cast.
Oh, hell yeah.
A powerhouse cast, and that's Daybreakers from 2009. And the synopsis reads as follows. In the year 2019, a plague is... Again, side break. This is another of those movies that was shot in the past, or came out in the past, and the future date is already passed in real life, which is always a fun adventure as you go, okay. But yes, in the year 2019, a plague has transformed almost every human into vampires. Faced with a dwindling blood supply, the fractured dominant race plots their survival. Meanwhile, a researcher works with a covert band of vamps on a way to save humankind. We will say, we'll start off with this real quick. This movie is dope. It really isn't a horror movie, although vampires are a very horror-y kind of thing. This movie has gore, especially at the end. It gets
They are quite hoary.
Yeah, they're very horror-y. But it's not, it's kind of an action movie is it an action movie? I don't know. Maybe you called it an action movie. I don't know. But with horror elements, because vampires are always horror elements. Even in Twilight, they're horrifying, but that's because they sparkle in the sun. And it just makes me think of What We Do in the Shadows with the Nandor and his creepy paper when he wants cray paper. He's like, I want some creepy paper. But yes. What is you guys' experience with the movie? Did you do I watched this probably on Netflix or because when this came out, Netflix discs were still a thing. But it's been a while
Back in
since
my day, we got our Netflix through the mail.
Exactly.
That's not a joke. We did used to get our Netflix through the mail. Anyway.
We're old, and that used to be a thing.
Yeah, but
And
you
that
guys
killed.
are also American, so you had it before us, and we had different. In Calgary, this year we're getting our first Chipotle, but we have Mucho Burrito, which is everywhere, and I have friends that have eaten at both places and say Mucho is way, way better. So it's Canadians will go down to America, see what's happening, see what's going on and what's trending, and then they'll come back up here, make their own Canadian version of it, and then have a leg up on it or whatever. So we had Redbox or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
Redbox.
we have Redbox.
I don't know. I'm actually kind of amazed that COVID didn't put those things completely out of business.
Me too. I mean, well, in my area, they still worked really well because we don't have a lot of, not everybody in my area has high speed internet, much less internet fast enough to be able to stream. So I guess I get it, but
I would just think that people didn't want to touch the fucking things.
I would think so.
I drove by one the other day. There's a CVS or something right by me, and I was like, man, those things are still going. So
I don't know. I saw this in theaters when it came out, but I saw the cast. I'm obsessed with actually just all of them. All three. I was like, oh my God, one of these guys would bring me into the theater, but all three of them in one movie, I was like, holy shit, this is one of those super bands when all the best metal bands come together and create your favorite shit. Kind of oh, what the fuck? I'm so bad with names. Better
sorry,
Lovers.
I wandered off because I remembered something and I had to say something. So my Adderall came in and I'm like, Adderall. We all love Adderall. Okay. No, so
Better
what's
Lovers?
your guys' experience with this movie? Did you
Have you heard of
was it,
Better
kind of
Lovers,
similar
man?
to mine? Have you watched this movie recently, or has it
Rod,
been
can you
a
hear
good
Josh?
while?
I don't think
I don't
you
know
can.
if Rod can hear either of us.
Now I can't hear you.
Yeah, he's talking.
Which would explain why he was talking when you were telling your story.
Oh.
Ah.
Yeah. I'm oh, now we can't hear him at all.
Oh no.
Rod, plug in your mic. Oh, now we can hear you.
Yeah.
Whatever. No, I won't stop it or start it. It's all good. I'll just edit out. We'll record.
Hello? Okay, it's recording again. Okay, sorry.
I was saying this movie is like one of those super bands where all your favorite like bands come together and create one super band.
Yeah.
Like Better Lovers. I don't know if you've heard of Better Lovers. It's like a
I don't
new
know if I
metalcore
have.
band with people from Every Time I Die, bassist, drummer, Clint. Yeah, it's insane.
I mean,
it's like
Every
I
time
love
I die, the problem with them is that they like all like fucking fucked over the lead singer and kicked him out, and then tried to blame him for. But no, this is like
they were
it's
brothers.
funny.
They were related.
And they fucked over their own brother still.
That whole thing was fucked, but whatever.
Yeah.
Now we have Better Lovers, and it's fucking awesome. Get in.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, this movie doesn't have a huge cast, right? Like for like a lot of like most of the actors on screen are like kind of like background players, right? They're like because a lot of it's going through and doing like this dystopian future. This is another thing I keep saying that we're heading towards a dystopian future now as we speak, because we were talking about the game thing earlier, but like we are literally at a point in our fucking society, and this is not just America. I mean, America's the front lines of it, where profit is more important than everything else in the world, which is a profit thing and all that stuff. But like, and you sit this movie and you see that like Sam Neill at one point goes and says it. He goes, "Money is not in the cure; it's in the care or the whatever." Which is always the thing. People are like, why would they cure cancer and they just give you a drug that makes you like for the rest? Or AIDS is actually the one that like really kind of we live in the world where that's really the case, where you're like, I have AIDS. I don't have a cure, but guess what? I have these pills where like you could like have unprotected sex while on them and while you're having AIDS, which still kind of sounds like a, or HIV. I'm not sure if it's because there's a distinction when it crosses over, right? But it's the thing where we live in a world where profit is so much more important. Like cures don't mean shit. We live in a world where how many times how many times have you listened to a podcast where they've talked about someone who like they developed a car that like runs on water and then this person just disappears?
A lot.
Yeah, and that's
not a government conspiracy. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's legit.
That just happens.
Same thing. There was a young girl recently. She was in her mid-teens that came up with a cure for like it was like 80% of types of cancer, and she has just vanished. Poof, gone. Don't know where she went.
AI coming up with all these like 3D like views of all the strings of every disease known to man now.
Yeah, but don't worry. AI's got you by doing like deep fakes of, your sister and your dog making ice cream on the moon.
Yeah, of course.
This just reconfirms why I decided that having children wasn't a good idea, because we're at the point where dystopian future from sci-fi novels and movies from like 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, it's just like, I don't know, that's just what's happening. It's not even a dystopian future anymore. It's just like, you're like this movie is so incredibly like what would happen in real life if vampires became a thing. We would turn people into cattle. And by the way, I don't know how much they intended it to look like that. The scenes in this movie where they have the people in the cattle farm like things where they're just like holding them up like it reminded me of the Matrix. Like it's so like the Matrix where it's like you have all the people in the tubes, but like it's way more like we're just gonna cover up their genitalia and then like put everyone in this feeding stock thing. And I'm just like, it's what was one of the things about
very
this
Matrix, but. Still,
yeah.
I don't know. Like I love the visual. The script is just well done. Like the whole concept for this movie and the cast mixed in, it has so much legs. It has so much like just girth. I feel like, oh my god, it's so girthy.
Yeah.
And if that's
It's
the right
girthy
word.
and veiny. It's veiny and girthy. It's
It
got that
has
girth that we all
fucking
love.
depth, you know, and
It hits the back wall, Josh. Right?
But then, you know, I wish that it didn't end so cheesy. Like it just like if it didn't end, you know, so cheesy, it would be like a perfect movie. But at the same time, I love my cheese, and
Yeah.
I fucking love this movie through and through, and all the cheese and the over the topness, I think, adds to this weird, almost B aesthetic that it has, because it's like, yes, they have these bigger actors, but I still feel this movie is living in this weird, almost indie, but not because it's an Australian movie. Potentially, I'm not sure.
Well,
but
dude, you have like three. I mean, William Dafoe is one of those actors that you go, oh, you want, like, this man will do any role and just like fucking give it his all. Like, he's very much like like Nicolas Cage, like, right, but like better, like, and not even better, like more serious, but because the man, like everything, all his lines from like Boondock Saints, which is probably were the first like time as a kid that I became aware of him. You know, maybe maybe not. Maybe it was Spider-Man, but like William Dafoe in Boondock Saints is one of those movies where it's like none of that movie is like masterclass A, but it's a fun movie, right? And William Dafoe is like one of the highlights of that movie and how like wonderful he is in that entire time. And he has lines in the movie that would not fly in 2023, as I just spit on my mic because I always have to spit
William
on long.
Dafoe.
Yeah, he is wonderful in that movie. But like, it's like him and like Ethan Hawke has done a lot of like weird, like cool science fiction. I mean, we talk about horror movies here, and he's obviously in the original Purge, which is another dystopian movie that I go, hey, that seems about right. Like that would happen in 2023 or in the near future. Let alone like things like Galga, which is a movie I heard someone bring up recently. It might have been when I was streaming last week, and it's one of the movies that is like pretty notorious because of the methods we're heading towards with like genetic modifications, and that movie was like probably like 98. 97, something like that. It was like, you know, the late 90s that movie came out. So like we have all these like super class actors, and obviously Sam Neill was in Jurassic Park, and one of the things one of the movies we've already talked about was now my brain fart, the space horror movie. What's the space horror movie they him with Lawrence Fishburne? God damn it. What, Josh, we talked to the fucking, what's the goddamn
Event Horizon?
Event Horizon. Yes, I couldn't think of Event Horizon for some reason. I was just talking about it.
Take it easy, Rod. It's
I'm
Event
sorry.
Horizon.
It is Event Horizon. So we had this master class of like, you know, people, and then a lot of really high supporting actors. You know, it's funny. I laugh about this because I keep bringing up What We Do in the Shadows, but the thing with that show is that everyone talks with a weird lisp, it sounds like, because of their like vampire teeth. No one in this movie talks with a weird like vampire lisp, and I wonder if it's because their fangs aren't as big as other things. You know what I mean?
They just play that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's What We Do in the Shadows is a comedy, and it's like very like, you know, over the top. And it's funny listening to all those people talking their normal British accents, except for like Colin Robinson, who's like the only American on the show. Him and Guillermo. But human form. I am excited to see what they do with that in the next one. But man, like, it's funny watching this movie, and I don't know if either one of you guys thought about this while you were watching it again. Like, all the stuff in this movie, like with the feral vampires, is very much how like I think they kind of treat homeless people in like,
it is. That's where I was going to bring up in just a second.
Yeah,
It's all about like the different levels of America.
Yeah, it's
But
all
I
about
also
other
love-
people's comfort. Granted, like it's a little bit different because of the extremist levels, but I mean, they're literally dragging these people that are the same as them 2 weeks prior, living on the street, protecting them, as the one security guard was, to, I don't know what this thing is, but I want it out of my sight. It's making me miserable. Get it out of here. Putting a chain around its neck, dragging it out into the sunlight behind a tank. Like it literally is what they do in this situation.
Yeah. I mean, even Sam Neill, who's looks for his daughter for half the movie, and then his daughter gets caught, and like, am I the only one who thought? Yeah, she was in. Someone was saying, "Oh, yeah, it was Violet." My buddy was watching. Yeah, she was in the second Transformers movie as a blonde, and she looks way different. Yeah, she was a Decepticon as a human.
Yeah.
One of the silliest things in those movies, which that's the movie that the robot has like testicles hanging out, isn't it? It's the second one is the testicle movie. I don't know. I think the only good thing about that movie is Leonard Nimoy being in it. And the problem with Leonard Nimoy, I used to listen to Opie and Anthony, and they were always talking about how you could hear him talking over like his dentures clapping around his mouth. He's talking. So I just hear him like his dentures coming in and out. And I'm just like, oh God. But yeah, so it's, I think that movie is very much like social commentary at the same time, just in a ridiculous way, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it 100% is illustrate. I mean, obviously, like I feel like I'm kind of just explaining what's obviously known at that point, but it's definitely a commentary on it because it is the social elite literally sucking the life force out of the working class, and then the working class is no longer able to afford to survive. They end up having to survive off of each other, which then in turn turns them into monsters, which the elite don't want to see, don't want to be around. And then the more aggressive they get, they literally drag them into the streets and kill them. Like, and that is what it is. I mean, even the situation in the subway where he can only get 5% of blood in his coffee and he like loses his shit and jumps the counter. When I watched this years and years ago for the first time, I was like, oh my God, that's so over the top. Nothing like that would ever happen. That shit happens all the time now, all over the place. People are like pulling guns on people for absolutely no fucking reason whatsoever. Yeah. And again, as a kid, maybe I was just naive, but I feel like times have shifted so much that it's logical. But obviously, maybe they hadn't, and it's just been going on because it was displayed in the movie.
Yep. I think that there's
I love that this has like, because usually a movie like this would have, you know, only humans against vampires, but the fact that there's the vampires against themselves as well, the even worse. I love that there's like the different tiers, so then it has the ability to have that social commentary as well. That's what gives this movie, again, the girth. It's so girthy.
It's got layers like an onion. It's got layers.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's just good writing, man.
I mean, yeah, and it's like it's a thing where, like, dude, Kim kind of explained it perfectly. We live in a world like where this is the case. You just take out vampires. The elites are draining everything they can out of every like. We have morons like Elon Musk going around with their cock hanging out, just being giant assholes and doing whatever they want because they have billions of dollars. And you go, oh, okay, so when you have billions of dollars, you can do whatever you want. It's the same thing. Sam Neill is like the head of this pharmaceutical vampire company. And as everyone else is like starving to death, he's still like living this life of luxury and doing all that stuff. You know what's funny is like, did either one of you think about True Blood at all when watching this? Because like the whole like blood substitute is very like True Blood in a lot of ways.
So I don't know.
I haven't watched it yet. No.
Okay, so it starts off ridiculous, but kind of has like a similar like where the beginning of that show is the premise that vampires existed, but then they develop a blood substitute called True Blood. And they get to like.
Oh, is that why okay?
Yeah, so then they get to come out into the open and do whatever, right? And so they're like present in society. The show gets insane by the end, but like it has that starting kind of synopsis of like what happens, and I just thought of like I think that the thing that is kind of makes this movie more extreme in when it comes to vampires and population and everything is, again, I'll bring up what we do in the shadows for the 9th time today. Like in that and a lot of other vampire mythos, when you bite someone, you have to feed them your blood to become a vampire, right? This, on the other hand, when you bite someone, they become a vampire. So it's like the thing where you either kill them when you drain them, like which happens at the very end, like when they're all like going fucking like, it's like chain attack where you like, like one becomes cured and then everyone eats them and then becomes cured. But
I love it.
So
I love that they flipped it on its head. It's just like,
well,
it's the one thing, but it's also the reverse button too.
It also kind of go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it also made me think of COVID because they had like the bat stuff and like kind of talking about China and like you're like, oh, you see during like the opening credits like the how it started or how they think it started, and so that kind of reminded me of COVID, which is like, you know what I mean? So
I was gonna say at some point when we're talking about like, you know, the circle of everything going around and then going back to normal, it took me a moment because I was trying to remember if we saw them eating human food at any point. We did, right? Or was it just like blood-based things? Because I don't think they did, because my reason for that is that with them all drastically changing back to humans, going around that circle, where's their food production going to be for a human side, you know?
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, that also, I blame it on the fact that I think I missed my Ritalin today. Bring it all the way back around to the scene where they're sitting in the office and they're running the tests on the guy prematurely, and they're doing the office test prematurely, and they give the guy, what is it, some type of the artificial blood, and he like his head, he's like, you know, head, I don't feel good or it hurts or something, and his head just explodes. All I could think of is like, and he does the violent vomiting. I fucking
love that scene so much.
I love that scene so much, and that's what I was thinking of with the food. This is how it all comes full circle. Yeah, is if they're all going back to human, there is no sustainable food source of a human variety. Are they all going to start violently vomiting and head exploding like dude back at the beginning? Sorry,
you know what? That's a good point, and you know what it makes me think is that the animal population is also affected by the vampirism in this, because they talk about people eating, you know, wild animals, and talking about things like wild animals going out into the sunlight when they're vampires and exploding and whatnot. I think that like we could never fully get away with it, because obviously there's the reoccurring theme in this movie about people who want to be vampires. Like Ethan Hawke's character's brother, like was like wanted to be a vampire, right? Also, that guy looks so much like, remind me so much of Pennywise, Skarsgård.
Yeah, he does.
And I was like, this guy looks exactly like Bill Skarsgård.
He could
I'm like,
definitely be one of the brothers. Absolutely could want to be one of the Skarsgård brothers, or however you say. I never say their name right, but I love them all. They're fabulous.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, actually. Holy shit, yeah. Now that you just said that, I'm like, oh, fuck.
So I think, I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast. I don't see things in my head, so my brain associates things like this, like I always think people look like people, and that's like how I correlate individuals in my head. I'm like,
Did I mention to you I was watching Divergent the other night, and he's in Divergent as like an elevator operator or some shit, just like some random background keeper, and I guess they made him like squat down a little bit so he's shorter.
Because he's a like, real tall guy, right?
Yeah, he's like 6'5", 6'7" or some shit. Yeah. It's wild.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård, Pennywise.
Oh.
He's the guy from Barbarian. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. He's in Divergent as like a background character.
It's always funny seeing. It's always funny when you see like actors like who are in little things like that. It's always like I think it was Spider-Man 2 where you have like Emily Deschanel is like the or not Emily, whatever,
Zoe?
her sister. Yeah. Oh no, it is Emily. It is Emily. It is Emily. It's not Zoe. As when you said Zoe, but Emily is like a receptionist. Like this is before she did Bones, and you're just like, that's Emily Deschanel. And so it's always that stuff like that where you see these actors in these little tiny roles. Like Jack Black's like a cameraman, and I think it was it like Cable Man or the one with Jim Carrey. So it's always funny seeing those like
Jonah
guys
Hill's
like
and so much random shit just floating around in the background in the early 2000s.
oh yeah, he
yeah.
didn't blow up until Superbad. Like Superbad was the thing that really blew him up, right?
Oh yeah,
So,
but Superbad blew up a lot of people though.
yeah.
He kind of put that whole little group on the map.
I mean, Michael Cera had been in Arrested Development and stuff like that, but like, yeah, he wasn't like
I'm not
as
talking
widely
just
known.
actors, like the producers, like Seth Rogen and stuff. It solidified him as like a filmmaker, producer, and the team that fuck. That movie was just too fucking good.
I always makes me think of Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, who was the guy, like the older douche who like bought him beer or whatever and took him to that party, the party where Jonah got like period on his pants.
So good.
Oh,
and
man.
that actually happened in real life. He's like, you can't make this shit up. All the funniest shit in this movie actually happened to us, and that's why it's so fun.
That's always like, you're like, the funniest shit is always real stories. It's like,
Yep.
I just think that I do like a lot of the things in this. There's like also elements of like 30 Days a Night. If you think about it, like 30 Days a Night with the vampires are more like zombie-esque, and like as soon as they get into that hunger phase, dude. It's like it just shows how fucked up these people are. Sam Neill, because they have that scene where they talk about they like intentionally deprive that dude of blood, and how he started like feasting on himself, and like his brain was getting smaller and stuff like that. And it's just like it basically in this movie, it's like vampires just like even vampires like put each other on these like or like doing whatever the fuck they can to get over with
society.
each other. Yeah.
It's just god awful. Like, look at what we can do to each other.
Maybe it's because I have like empathy. Like, I feel like not having empathy makes it so much easier to get by in this world. It's like, do you want to be I don't know, man. I feel like you can't become a billionaire without having like fucked up, like empathy and like caring for the world and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like if you were like a functioning member of society, you would see what you were doing to the world, and it's like, but you don't. You're just like Sam Neill, who's just like, who doesn't? That motherfucker had his daughter drug out into the sun and did not miss a fucking beat. He's like, I'm good. But I do have to say, there's another thing about this movie that makes me laugh. They're fucking, whenever they get shot with stakes to the heart, they blow up. I'm like, these motherfuckers are like
pretty cheesy, but
it was super cheesy.
But it's super cheesy, and it's like, what kind of like accuracy are these motherfuckers having, right? Because they're like
right in that particular location.
They're
every time.
Well, that's like the scene where they're like being the convoy. They have a convoy of humans that get like stopped because one of their tires gets shot out with a tranquilizer dart, and they're just like blankly shooting into the fucking night, and these fucking vampires are just exploding because they're just like randomly hitting the hearts. You're like, what kind of fucking accuracy do you motherfuckers have?
Right?
It's
like how does that even happen? I don't know.
You would have to have like
zero sense.
You'd have to have American Sniper, like the dude from that movie, dude. And he still wouldn't matter. It's like there's just like every crossbow.
Like heat sink them because they didn't use like a heat sink on them, right? To be able to see them. I don't remember that part. They were just shooting blindly.
Yeah, they were just shooting blindly into the fucking night. Well, it's because the scene you talked about, Ken, the vampire where they're testing out the blood. His body temperature was only 60 degrees when they started
That's right. Yeah.
And then he went up 10 degrees and then he blew up, which is like
so I mean, basically what you're telling me is that all of those humans that were shooting blindly into the dark and exploding the zombie or the vampires with precision, with sniper like precision, all served in Nam and were a part of Iwo Jima, and they all were snipers and they shot from far, and
I 873 confirmed kills apiece. They've never
shooting fingers
missed.
off of a fly from 75 million yards away on a boat while it was in a storm.
They were shooting the testicles off of a fly from 9 miles away with a pea shooter.
Yeah.
Accuracy 101, baby. Baby.
Welcome to the U.S., Josh. Get your shit or get out.
Where you're born, you pop out of your mama's vagina, and they hand you an AR-15. America.
Yeah.
America.
Fuck yeah. Give me 18
the whole
AR-15s.
We're recording this episode a little bit early this week because of America.
Because I wanted to watch a
wants
football
watch
game.
Football. I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking American. Jesus Christ.
It was so funny, too, because somebody else was talking about wanting to watch football, so they were going to do something different today. And then when you messaged me, I immediately screenshotted it and sent it to them. And I was like, well, you're not the only one.
Well, it's a thing. I live in Denver, and I grew up in Cleveland, so they're on Monday Night Football, and I was like, I get to actually watch a game. So it's not all that common.
That's what you think. We're going to keep you forever. I'm just kidding.
Forever and ever and ever.
Oh, no, yeah, Josh, did you know that when you go to an American football game, the first thing they do is they hand you an apple pie that's warm, an American flag, and an AR-15, and a beer.
AR,
and they tell you to have fun.
Yep.
I knew it.
They say America. My favorite thing about
But
football
definitely a
season. My favorite thing about football season starting is the videos that come out on like Twitter and whatnot of just fans kicking the shit out of each other in the stadiums because they're all fucking drunk assholes, and you're just like, what is wrong with you motherfuckers? I don't know about you two. I mean, Josh less than. I mean, I could see Kin swinging, but like I don't see.
Oh, I would. And it would have nothing to do with the game is the thing.
No.
Like, it would have absolutely nothing to do with the game. It would be one person making one wrong step at the one wrong time.
Ken is like, catch the power of bipolar. It's like
this is an accurate statement, and I swear to God, if one more person tells.
Ken, my favorite part about people coming in and telling you what bipolar is, I'm like, people, because Kid has it her hashtags on her stream like bipolar because she's bipolar and she's very
9 times out of 10 it's great before you go any further, because I do want to preface that because a lot of people would be like otherwise like, oh well, then just take it out. Of course, if I was actually frustrated with it, I'd just take it out. My frustration lies with the ones that come in, which are the ones that stand out more, right? It's just like if you get comments, you get like great positive comments, you see that one negative one and you're like, oh my God, and it's like burned into your skull. I'm totally taking this from you, Rod. I'm sorry. But when somebody comes in and they're like, you're not bipolar, or they'll like ask you what your symptoms of bipolar are, and then you tell them, and then they're like, that's not bipolar. And you're like, so like this week, for whatever reason, it's just like super fine tuned in. I don't know if it's like one of my 18 million issues right now, but like anytime it comes up, I'm like,
oh, dude, that's why I brought it up, and it just made me think about all this stuff. I'm like, people instructing Ken, it's just like, I know it's the internet and people have no like recollection of what they're meaning. Like, I will tell you guys this, like, streamers are people too. We feel things. We feel things. We have feelings. We have real world experiences.
No, you don't. Shut the fuck up. Dance. See, I win.
I'm a marionette. Just like Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Ken and her lies of penis game. Lies of penis. It's funny, like, because like this movie came out. What I have to ask, like, what year? I have to look it up. What year did Twilight? So this came out the year after Twilight, like the Twilight, because vampire movies haven't been a very common thing for a long time in Hollywood, right? It's like we have
I just
like the
did the new homepage, by the way.
Sweet.
Nice.
I've been doing it this whole time for some reason. I don't know why.
Because ADHD, Josh, is why. That's why. But like, it's like sitting there going, it's good to see mainstream like vampire movies. Like, I don't think that many get like made. I think most of them are pretty low budget. I think of like, like the Underworld movies.
So good, though.
I like
rewatch those in a hot second. I need to rewatch them. I liked the first one. After that, they kind of went stupid on me. But like,
you know what's cool about them though?
Me.
They do a lot of practical effects, right? They do a lot of practical.
So they didn't.
Yeah,
they did well. Like they didn't age funny or whatever.
I will say about Daybreakers, because I want to say it, the worst shot in the entire fucking movie is the opening scene where the little vampire girl kills herself in the sun, and like when she turns to, it looks worse than Terminator 2. Like it's just CG like pouring out, and you're just like, also. For some fucking reason, I was having problems watching this on Plex, so I watched this on Amazon. I have Amazon Prime, and I was still getting commercials every 20 minutes, and I'm not sure why. I was like, why am I watching ads in the middle of it? I think Amazon has a selection of movies that they just have ads in. Yeah. I'm just like, well, I could go pee now for like 70 seconds. Whatever. I feel like
so brutal.
This is how many Ethan Hawke movies have we done? This is only the second one because we did Black Phone, and
Great
I feel like he's such an underappreciated actor, man. I really do. Like, I don't think he gets brought up in the top tier and stuff. And he's done a lot of really, really, really good films. Like the Moon Knight show, he was the best part of that show, like that was on as the bad guy. But like he was extremely creepy in Black Phone. He killed that movie. You think he does? I mean, he did what's it called? The Scott Derrickson movie. What the fuck was it called? The really fucked up one with the kids in the lawnmower running the parents' heads over. I can't think of name.
No.
No. It starts with an S, doesn't it? I don't know. Why can't I think of the name? No, I can't think of the name of any movies apparently tonight. But like, and I don't know why that is. Why can't I think of anything? The kid. It starts with an S, but like Sinister. There you go.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
He was in Sinister. The man's done a lot of horror movies. We already talked about The Purge, or brought up The Purge. So this man is fucking killing it. William Dafoe obviously is fucking wonderful. Also, what was it? What did they do at? Unbelievable, Josh. What did they do at the very end of this film that made him look so much better as a human than as a vampire? Like, is it just they cleaned up his hair and stuff like that made him look like I don't know. I think they had this thing in this movie. They made the vampires look sickly a little bit. Like, obviously,
yeah. They absolutely did.
He also was more sickly because he didn't drink human blood. He just like drank the substitutes or animal blood. He says what he said to his brother, I don't drink human blood, or I don't touch human blood, or whatever. So, Josh, what's your favorite part of
that? They did like the way it kind of all falls into place pretty like easily when they're like, oh hey, pretty lady also has a wine vineyard that has the perfect vessel to just create this like vortex of sun hell perfectly.
Yeah. Well,
but
my favorite part of it,
it's good, but it was a little too easy.
Well, my favorite part about that is they take William Dafoe's story where he crashes his car and like gets projectiled out of it like a fucking like he gets yeeted out of a car going 900 miles an hour and goes into the sun and into like this lake. And the first thing Ethan Hawke thinks of is like, oh, that means the sun cured him. I'm like, I would have been more like the water, or I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm like, how do you jump directly to this? Like the sunlight is what cured him. But again, movie logic. It's like the guy, the movie pitch guy, super easy, barely an inconvenience, like that kind of thing, you know, right? And,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's like
barely an inconvenience.
I mean, I don't know. That logic is also, he was a hematologist, so maybe something made sense to him. I don't fucking know. But like, I'm like, I don't know how you jump directly to that. But it also, there's like the other weird things in this movie. Like, how did the vampires find the senator and all the humans like after they like tracked down their hiding? Like, the hiding place made sense, the winery, because they like somehow like clued into their like radio, like where they were sending out their radio waves from or something like that. I don't know. It's movie. There's a lot of movie logic in this, and none of it's distracting. I mean, we're just bringing it up because we're talking about the film, but
because it's amazing.
Because it's amazing.
Are we like a podcast or something? I've been watching a lot more podcast, like comedy podcasts.
Yeah,
and they hardly do anything. They just like laugh. Like
that's
a
because
lot.
I assume most comedy podcasts, the people that make them are very high, and so it just goes
Or drunk, like, but they're
drunk,
usually in the same room. I was looking forward to potentially doing an episode with Kin in the same room, if that was going to be a thing. That would be cool.
It should be. I would say a couple months. It should be.
Well,
Let's do
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
You set it up, and I will try to make my way to
Oh,
Calgary.
hell
also.
yes. Absolutely.
Your mic is right here, hanging from the ceiling.
Me?
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
your office or in real life? I'm having mic
In real
issues
life.
right now. Oh. Hell yeah.
Right
When
Yeah,
Josh-
let's make it happen. Let's plan it.
Well, just be careful when Josh says that the mic is in the room. He's not talking about his penis because we never know.
Oh. I don't know. You're both really tall. So, I mean, both of your penises are probably going to be above my head.
I'm not above your head. I mean,
I'm joking. I mean,
they're not.
Never mind.
It would just go to your ear. It would go to your ear like a pencil. Like a pencil. Just, I don't. Dude, I have to say the funniest part of that Strays movie involves a Great Dane getting a red rocket, and it made me laugh extremely hard. And that was the best part of that whole movie. So I will say that right here, right now. What, Josh? What,
Right
Josh?
here, right now.
Right now. Right
Okay.
here. Right now.
Okay.
I love you, motherfuckers. What is there anything else you guys want to say before we wrap up? Daybreakers.
15% off everything at Murder Moose Shop. Go there,
Ooh.
buy merch right now.
Ooh,
Limited
make me a
time
graphic.
sale. What's up?
Make me a graphic. I'll blast it all over my social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blast it. Okay, I'm sorry. Now I'm thinking about the whole dick on the ceiling on
And
the
money
head,
shots, and then there's gonna
on
be
the
cum
ear.
everywhere.
Like,
Everything's sticky.
All right.
Everything's sticky.
Everything's sticky.
I do say there's another thing I do like about the vampires in this film. They get elf ears, which I approve of, and they have like the weird yellowy eyes, which I'm always like.
Yeah, I like the yellowy eyes.
It makes me think of Anakin Skywalker at the Revenge of the Sith because they've been talking about that a lot with Ahsoka, and Anakin's been on that show this like whatever the last week or whatever, but yes. I look over my IMDb and I see Christopher Walken doing crazy things because IMDb is always playing random fucking things on their goddamn, their trailer things at the top of this thing, and I'm like, man, what
love
Christopher
that guy.
Walken what? You say you don't like Christopher Walken?
I said I love that guy. What are you
Okay.
hearing, man?
I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking, what Christopher Walken horror movie can we do? I think he's in Sleepy Hollow. We could do that
He
at
is
some
in
point.
Sleepy Hollow, yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
movie.
That is a great movie.
I haven't watched that in a very long time.
I
But are you guys
went to the movie theaters with my mom to see that.
Nice. Are you guys down with doing Alien for episode 156? Because I love that movie. And
Of course, if that's what
three-
you would like.
3 years of doing this thing. Let's do it. Let's do it for like the officially like 52 episodes a year. You add that up 3 times, you get 156. Bada boom.
And a new
Ba-dum.
website and merch.
Hell yeah. Give me graphics, my boy. Give me graphics.
Yep. And you can buy cool.
Give me
Murder Moose.
graphics, Joshua. Ooh, woo, daddy.
Ooh. Ooh.
Joshy washy. Ooh, woo.
So,
yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Joshua, we'll schedule it December.
Gosh.
Let's make a plan.
yes, let's
Okay.
do it. I'm down. I have to schedule those things like far out,
Yeah.
but you do this and we'll do it. Okay. Okay, cool guys. Yes, Alien will do 1978. 78, right? 79? Is Alien 78 or 79?
It's in the game.
Oh, I don't even
Hey
think we
Siri,
did that.
what year did Alien
79.
come out?
79.
Alien was released on May 25th, 1979.
Yeah, I was close. And then
So
I
that's
realized.
44 years.
Yeah.
44
Yeah.
years old. Nice.
Nice.
In the
Nice.
game.
Alien. It's in the game. Okay,
Did we
everybody.
say we were Murder Moose Podcast?
I don't know if we did.
We are.
We-
We're Merchster Moose podcast. It's in the game, part of the slash
Can I be the
cast.
one who
It's in the
shills
game.
everything?
Go ahead,
From now
Ken.
on?
Go.
Hey, you guys have just been listening to the Murder Moose podcast. I hope that you've really enjoyed this episode where we talked about the 2009 film Daybreakers. It was great to have you, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. Rod, take it away.
Okay, you go to murdermoose.com. You go to Murder Moose Podcast on YouTube and find us there. So just search Murder Moose Podcast. You go to Kintinue.com and twitch.tv/Kintinue and do all these things and find her there. You go to Joshwrb.com and Joshwrb everywhere else. And you find me at Rod_Johnston on Twitch, Twitter, and all these things. I'm all over the place. Find me there. We love you, motherfuckers. Thanks for hanging out for this shit show. Another episode of ADHD 101. We will catch you guys next week for Alien in episode 156. And we've been like 3 years of this shit. So we love you guys. We'll catch you later. Have a good one. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Goodbye.
It's in the game. Buy merch.